He left her drowning in debt and heartbreak. But what he didn't expect was their 11-year-old son's quiet revenge. One click changed everything, and a week later, the man who once walked out came crawling back in tears. Listen to today's story and let us know which country you're listening from. Rachel Carter stood in the kitchen doorway, arms crossed tightly over her chest, watching her husband, Mark, fumble with the zipper of his duffel bag. She had felt this moment coming for weeks, but nothing could prepare her for the sting of hearing the words. "I am leaving," he muttered, avoiding eye contact. Rachel said nothing. She noticed how his hands trembled, how he couldn't stand still. She had memorized every part of this man, his laugh lines, his scars, the way he held a coffee mug. But now, standing before her, he looked like a stranger. "Who is she?" she finally asked. "Jessica," he whispered. From the office, Jessica Lane, the young, overly confident woman Rachel had always been suspicious of. She swallowed the lump in her throat and steadied her voice. "And what about our son, Mark? Have you even thought about Ethan? What this will do to him? What about the house, the mortgage payments that are due next week? The credit card debt, the groceries, the utility bills piling up on the counter? I'll send money," Mark said weakly, his voice barely above a whisper, as if saying it out loud would somehow make it true. He wouldn't meet her eyes, and his fingers clutched the strap of his bag like it was a lifeline. Rachel gave a bitter laugh that echoed off the kitchen walls. "Money? Really, Mark? You think tossing a few dollars our way will make this okay? You think that replaces the father Ethan's about to lose?" Her voice trembled, but not from fear, from the fury boiling just beneath the surface. She took a breath, held it, and then let it out like a dam breaking. "Just go," she said at last, her tone cold and final, as if each word were a door slamming shut in his face. Without another word, Mark left, and Rachel collapsed into tears. Later that evening, Rachel sat beside her 11-year-old son, Ethan, struggling to find the words. "Your dad, he's not coming home," she said gently. Ethan stared at her, confused. "Why not? Where is he?" "And he left to be with someone else." The boy's face twisted in pain, a storm of emotions flickering behind his wide eyes. For a moment, Rachel thought he might break down, but he didn't cry. Without saying another word, he turned and stormed down the hallway, the thud of each step echoing his heartbreak. Rachel remained at the table, frozen. The silence that followed was heavier than any argument could have been. That night, with no comforting words to give and no one to lean on, Rachel cried alone, curled up on the couch, the weight of abandonment and worry pressing down on her chest like an anchor. Life got harder. Rachel picked up back-to-back night shifts at the hospital. Bills piled up, groceries dwindled. Ethan withdrew. He stopped laughing, stopped talking. It felt like she was losing him, too. One morning, Rachel returned home to find a note on the table. "Oh, Mom, I love you. I'll find a way to help." Her heart cracked again. Rachel's only comfort came from her neighbor, Helen Walker, a retired nurse who always arrived with a warm pie and a warmer heart. "You're stronger than you think," Helen told her. "And after every black storm, there's sunlight. You just have to hang on." Rachel clung to those words. A week later, while Rachel stirred soup, Ethan said, "Oh, Mom, I got back at Dad." She froze. "What do you mean?" "I found stuff on his computer. Like documents and folders labeled with weird names. There were spreadsheets with numbers, dates, graphs, charts that looked super complicated. I didn't understand much of it, but something about it just felt off, like he was hiding something serious, maybe even illegal. So I took screenshots and forwarded them. I sent them to his boss first. Then I found other email addresses in his inbox, some coworkers, maybe clients, and sent it to them too." Rachel dropped the spoon with a loud clatter, the metal echoing off the walls. Her heart pounded so hard she thought she might be sick. "Ethan, do you understand what you've done?" Rachel asked, her voice tight with concern, eyes wide with both fear and disbelief. "This could have serious consequences, not just for your dad, but for you, for us." Ethan shifted uncomfortably in his seat, his fingers fidgeting with the hem of his shirt. "Oh, I just wanted him to feel bad," he muttered, looking away. "I wanted him to see what he did to you. I thought, maybe if he realized how much he hurt us, he'd come back. Maybe he'd apologize. Maybe he'd fix things. I didn't want to make things worse. I just didn't know what else to do." Rachel hugged him tight. "And revenge isn't the way. But I know you did it because you love me." Days later, Mark called. His voice was ragged, heavy with a desperation Rachel had never heard from him before. It was a far cry from the confident, decisive tone he'd used the day he walked out. To Rachel. "Everything's fallen apart," he croaked, pausing as if swallowing the weight of his own words. "And I lost my job. They said it was because of the emails, the files. I'm being investigated now. Jessica." She left. She didn't even say goodbye. She just packed up her things and disappeared. He sounded hollow, empty. "So I have nothing. No job, no money. My reputation's ruined. Everyone at the office is talking about me. I don't even know how I'll pay next month's rent." He let out a broken sigh. "Please, help me. I don't know what else to do." Rachel closed her eyes, drawing in a long, shaky breath. "And you made your choice, Mark. You left us, me, Ethan, everything we built. For what? A fantasy? Now it's come crashing down and you expect me to be the one to clean it up?" Her voice, though calm, held the weight of every sleepless night, every tear, every shift she'd worked to keep them afloat. "No, you don't get to do that. You don't get to walk back in now that everything's burned down and ask me to put out the flames. You made your choice. Now live with it. Don't call me again." She hung up, her hand lingering on the phone for a moment longer. A deep, hollow silence followed, but for the first time in months, she felt free. Rachel focused on rebuilding her life one small step at a time. With Helen's constant encouragement and emotional support, she gathered the courage to step beyond her comfort zone. She began by offering in-home care services to elderly neighbors and patients from her hospital shifts. Grateful patients told their friends and families, and soon Rachel was juggling multiple appointments between her hospital work. One evening she told Helen, "Teed, I want to open my own clinic, but I have no money." "Since you have hands that heal," Helen said, money will follow." Rachel rented a small space, painted it herself. Colleagues donated equipment. Helen brought plants to brighten the place. Rachel hung a sign, "Ink Carter Family Medical Care." Patients came, and they returned. Rachel offered more than treatment. She offered comfort, understanding, strength. She was no longer the abandoned wife. She was a healer, a provider. She sent Ethan to summer camp with her own money. Mark showed up once, pale, disheveled, and thinner than she remembered. His clothes hung off him, wrinkled and stained, and his eyes, once so sure of themselves, were now clouded with defeat. He looked older, as if the weight of his mistakes had aged him overnight. "Oh, Jessica never loved me," he muttered, his voice hoarse and barely audible, like he had repeated the words too many times to himself. Said she wanted adventure, excitement. But the minute things went south, she was gone. He let out a bitter laugh that turned into a sigh. "And my job, it was all I had left. The only thing keeping me afloat. I poured everything into it, long hours, loyalty, everything. And now I'm nothing. Just a name people whisper about, a cautionary tale in an office I used to belong to." Rachel listened, but inside she felt nothing. "You broke us, Mark. You tore apart everything we built, our trust, our family, our future. Do you even understand the magnitude of what you did? You didn't just leave a house, you left a life, a son, and a woman who believed in you. And now, after all the damage, you think you can just walk back into the wreckage and expect forgiveness? There's no going back. That bridge has long since burned, and I've already started building a new one, without you." Walking in the park one day, Rachel saw Mark sitting on a bench alone. She looked away. Ethan, now brighter and stronger, smiled at her. She smiled back. They held hands and kept walking. Toward their future. Toward a happiness they had earned. What do you think of today's family story? It happens very often than we think, and do you think Rachel should have allowed Mark into their lives after what he did? Please let us know in the comments below.